The Church of South India, through its ministry among the youth, continues to believe in the creative energies of the young people. The Church, which stepped into the new Triennium in January 2017, affirms the enthusiasm in envisioning communities of faith and hope through its young people. Through the Youth Department, the Church has engaged with the youth in their fears, aspirations and goals, engaging with them in meaningful conversation and interventions. Working with the youth and working through the youth has been the method employed in this Triennium, as the department believes in youth as leaders of today and not just tomorrow. The issue of migration and its effects on society today is wide and diverse. There are stereotypes that refugees and migrants have added to security problems in general and crime rates, theft, murder, etc. in particular. Enforced idleness and poverty within a refugee camp may cause an escalation of social deviancy. Many young people are prone to such a context. As a response in educating our youth, Mitra was initiated. Mitra, which also means friend, enables the youth to become migrant-friendly fellowships, extending their arms of embracement to the migrants who are in their neighborhood. Seminars and workshops on building capacities of youth leaders about migration and its challenges are held in this process. Work with the Rohingya refugee settlement in Kelambakam in Chennai, Burma and Sri Lankan refugees in Antargam and Karimnagar diocese, networking with UNHCR, focus on migrant students from South Sudan, observances of World Refugee Day, community health and awareness camps and seminars for the refugee communities has been the prime focus.
I have worked in 2 programs under the banner of Mitra. One is in Antargam, Karimnagar district, worked with the migrants from Sri Lanka. We even had a social awareness programs like street plays where we focused on the social issues prevailing at the time. And moreover, we had a very good time to be with the people who are not even from our country, but they came here for their living.
Student chaplaincy ministry to cater to the psychosocial and spiritual needs of the younger generations in the context of stress, suicide, addiction, peer pressure, discrimination and violence is envisaged. This process aims to equip the skills of chaplains and counselors placed in the education institutions of CSI. Two-phase training with documentation of good practices and student-driven initiatives in many education institutions have been achieved. The growing divide between urban and rural India and its effects on young people are adverse. Limited access to education and employment opportunities for rural youth have lowered their self-esteem and confidence levels. Rural young women have even greater difficulties than young men, as they are often not given the same opportunities in education, training, involvement in rural development activities. The Skill Enhancement Training Program for rural youth caters to upskill the capacities of youth hailing from hard conditions of life. 35 young people in every diocese aspiring to migrate to urban areas in search of better education and livelihood opportunities from the age group of 18 to 25 were a part of this training in each diocese. The growing individualism and its effects on community living has been one of the problems communities are facing today. A sense of belongingness and responsibility is eroding as individualism banks upon the self. The church today is also facing such issues with its young people. In facilitating the spirit of volunteering and learning, the Youth Department launched Youth Dare to Dream program. The stay and exposure in these mission fields were planned to deepen the commitment of the youth in defining discipleship and paving way for a radical engagement amidst communities. This opportunity gave them an intercultural experience and deepened their ecumenical formation. Around 30 young people from many dioceses of CSI were a part of this initiative. Wind Beneath Our Wings, an intergenerational program between the youth and the elderly, where the young people are encouraged to commit and act for elders' rights and accompany them in order to create wholesome communities as a body of Christ, were held. In this process, the youth are sensitized about varying needs of the elders and also enables them a platform where the youth and the elderly can come together and dialogue. 1 synod level consultation and 2 regional level meetings were conducted. Growing unrest and culture of hate and violence is on the rise in India today. Incidents in the past few years have involved hate crimes, mob violence, communal violence, religion-related terror, gender-based injustice, and so on. In this context, which spurs up unrest and culture of hate, the department took upon the task of sensitizing its young people through Youth for Peace campaign to address conflicts. The youth ought to be educated to become channels of peace and justice. In this process, it enabled them to understand the nature of conflicts, identify connectors and dividers to build peace measures. The youth who are trained are addressing conflict situations and move towards its transformation.
I come to know that every single person has a significant role in shaping a society. The best part about LCP is DNH, do no harm, which helps us to analyze the 5 W's in 1 H. It's been great working with the team, and I hope that in future we would be much more socially empowered with the vision in action.
LCP trained me to sensitize the violence-related conflicts and to resolve them to build peace in the whole society. I even trained to look and analyze the problems on humanitarian basis.
Through a responsible citizenship campaign to encourage and motivate the young people to cast their vote and play an active part in the governance of this nation is also emphasized lately. Grooming young people to become committed members of the church. Youth are the foundation and the greatest assets of any community. In the dreams and hopes of the young people, the church is called to move forward. Capacitating them in varied skills and talents has been the prime focus of the department. Initiatives like training on discipleship in the context of empire to become faithful disciples of Christ is envisaged. It attempts to instill the values of discipleship in this changing world, enabling them to understand the various forms of empire and encourages them to build a spirituality of resistance in reimagining a new church and a new community. The U-Lead Leadership Training Program is to develop the knowledge, skills and understanding of Christian youth to become effective leaders within culturally diverse communities was initiated. It helped the young people for responsible participation in the life, mission and the work of the faith community.
Each and every session of the program was really amazing. At the end of the program, I came to know that leadership is not about leading, it's all about serving.
With an intention to sharpen the music skills of the young people, a church music workshop was organized by the department. Mrs. Hannah Schussler from Germany facilitated this workshop for 40 youngsters from various dioceses of CSI who opined that they were greatly benefited through this workshop.
And we've learned a lot of things, especially in choir conducting and how to sing in a choir.
Things that we can take back to our churches. If you guys are in for the next version of this workshop, you guys should definitely take part in it.
Youth Bible study clubs on justice among the youth of 5 dioceses were initiated. This Bible study booklet, titled God of Justice, opens up interactive engagement with various issues like human trafficking and bonded labor. The menace of addiction and abuse causes immense human distress and an increase in crime and violence worldwide. Indian youths too are caught in this vicious circle of drug abuse, and the numbers of drug addicts are increasing day by day. Through the Youth Against Addiction and Abuse campaign, CSI has committed herself to sensitize the people in general and the youth in particular on the menace of drugs. YA clubs were inaugurated in institutions, short film festivals and competitions, street theatre workshops to creatively spread the message of the campaign, seminars and rallies to educate and mobilize young people were initiated. The Ecumenical Youth Volunteer Program, in partnership with EMS Germany, seeks to give young adults from Germany guidance in their lives and inspiration for their spiritual life through ecumenical learning. This space enables the young people from abroad to experience our hospitality and in turn inspires our young people to become missional in their thinking. Around 23 volunteers were a part of this program in this Triennium.
I'm doing a voluntary service in the CSI Hardwick Boys Boarding Home here in Mysore. I really have to say, in my 3.5 months stay here, I experienced so much love and energy and happiness from them, and such different patterns of thinking, which I really enjoy because I can learn a lot from them and bring that into my life when I go back to Germany.
Coordinating Rethinking Ecclesia, a series of 8 consultations on the theme Being and Becoming Christ Communities towards a Borderless Church were planned and implemented by the department, marking the 70th year celebration of CSI and Reformation 500. CSI theologians and practitioners from various fields came together to discuss and reflect on the theme to give a theological direction to the church. Synod Youth Festival, Christa Yuva Jatrotsava, a gathering of 2,500 young people in Bishop Heber College to reflect on the theme Seekers of Truth, Doers of Justice was envisaged. Keynote address, Bible studies, thematic sessions, worship and prayer, 16 parallel workshops, mission priorities, art for truth and justice, cultural programs, tug of war, sports and a rally for solidarity was the design of this event. It sought to strengthen diocesan youth movements and enable a healthy and strong network of young people across the Church of South India.
I learned a lot of things from this event like leadership, teamwork and very successful.
CSI guidelines on effective ministry with and through the youth of CSI collates the voices of young people placed under the context of the church for the past 5 years. It set a framework for effective youth-friendly ministry with concerns and possible interventions. The presence of CSI youth in national and international ecumenical programs to represent many youth forums has built a strong ecumenical youth leadership among our young people. More than 70 of them across CSI have got opportunity to represent the church in various national and international ecumenical programs in the last Triennium.
It was a great opportunity to be a part of the General Assembly of WCRC, which helped me to have a wider perspective about the global church and also to know more about what ecumenism really means.
The Youth Department in this last Triennium has attempted to bring meaningful interventions with and through the youth of CSI. In a small way, it has attempted to offer perspective, rational thinking, and instill diaconal commitment among the young people. Thanks to the officers of the Synod and the chairperson of the Youth Department for their support and guidance. Heartfelt thanks to Council for World Mission and Evangelical Mission and Solidarity, the mission partners for their accompaniment and support, rendered to the Youth Department in all its activities this triennium. Acknowledging the greater work at the diocesan youth movements, we look back and thank God for God's continued accompaniment and look forward in hope for the continued commitment of young people towards the church and the society in building just and inclusive communities. Thank you.